How did you get involved with your current band, the Dodge Brothers?
So the Dodge Brothers came about because I was really interested in Skiffle, and I'd been in a band called the Railtown Bottlers while I was in Manchester. It was a Skiffle band. We ended up being the house band on Danny Baker's TV show on BBC One. Anyway, then I was with Linda, and Linda went to visit a friend of hers, and the friend of hers husband was Mike Hammond, who is a film professor, an incredible expert on early cinema. Linda and Mary started talking shop, and Mike said, "Oh, you want to go next door? I got a piano." He went next door and he had a classic American songbook. I said, "Oh, you interested in old blues?" He said, yeah, what do you like? And by the time Linda and Mary had finished their conversation, we'd formed a band. And I had this whole thing that, look, all you need to form a band is you need 7 songs, because 7 songs is a gig. So we figured out 7 songs. We got a harmonica player in, and it became Skiffle, Americana, bluegrass. And we just love that music. And at one point we went to Sun Studios in Memphis and we recorded an album, which of course the way you have to do that is no overdubs. You do it exactly as they would have done it. And it's just that kind of old-fashioned sound. And then the thing that changed our life was Neil Brand, who, as you probably know, is like the great silent movie pianist and composer of our age. Neil said, "I want to start accompanying movies, silent movies, but not with just me on a piano, but with the band." And I said, "Okay, but how are we going to do it?" He said, "Well, we'll just improvise." And I said, "Well, how's that going to work? I mean, if you improvise, your left hand is connected to your right hand through your head. But I mean, how is 5 people going to improvise?" And he went, "Well, we'll just figure it because it's what they used to do." And we started doing silent movie accompaniment with Neil to films like Beggars of Life and City Girl. And what we do is we follow Neil. As long as I can see Neil's left hand, I know what key he's in. And it has been one of the great joys of my life. And it's washboard, drums, banjo, guitar, double bass, harmonica, all old period instruments. And I seriously think that when the history of silent film music is written, Neil Brand's name will be up there in like, because he understands silent cinema in a way that no one I've ever seen does. He literally looks at the screen, his hands go on the keyboards, and he just plays the movie. It's astonishing.
This next track, I think, is one of your very favourites.
Yeah, this is a Washboard Sam track. And the reason this is important to me is, I said to you earlier on that, my dad loved Jelly Roll Morton records, and I liked all this other stuff. I grew up with punk and Comsat Angels and things like that, which he wasn't particularly fond of. But we discovered that we sort of met in the middle with jug band washboard music. And one day my dad bought me a Washboard Sam record, and I loved it. And he did as well. And that moment when generationally you both go, "Oh no, we both think this is great." And then over the course of a series of years, he bought me the entire Washboard Sam recordings. And I just think of it as the point at which our very different interests in music met, which was Who Pumped the Wind in My Donut by Washboard Sam.